Right now at 5:30, President Biden announced an executive action to ban future offshore drilling in parts of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. That ban will prevent oil companies from drilling across 625 million acres of U.S. oceans, including new drilling along the entire East Coast, parts of the Gulf of Mexico, and along the coasts of Washington, Oregon, and here in California. In a statement today, the president said, in part, quote, "Drilling off these coasts could cause irreversible damage to places we hold dear and is unnecessary to meet our nation's energy needs." And joining us live right now is Severin Borenstein, professor at UC Berkeley of Haas School of Business. So, Professor, this is a big victory for environmental groups. So how will this sweeping ban actually protect our coastlines?
Well, to the extent that there might have been drilling in these areas, it will reduce it. And we know that there have been some real environmental problems from drilling offshore. Of course, the Deepwater Horizon spill in 2010, which was a catastrophic event. But I think actually there's a lot less to this on both sides than is being claimed. Most of this area has been available and hasn't been drilled so far, and so it's not very high priority. Biden said that this was to protect the climate, but this isn't going to really change how much oil the world uses. On the other hand, the people who are claiming that this is going to really affect gas prices and we could have had much lower gas prices, there's really no evidence that we're talking about enough oil to significantly move the market. So I think all of this has to be kept in context. It is a move towards environmental protection, but I think that the effect on the world market is likely to be pretty negligible.
But we have to talk about the issue of politics, because this has actually drawn the ire of President-elect Donald Trump, who has vowed to immediately lift that ban. But is that even possible once he takes office?
Well, I'm an economist, but the legal reports that I'm reading say that it would be very difficult to quickly reduce this or remove this. I think that he very likely will have people who will try, and maybe eventually they will be able to reverse this. But let's remember the sort of projects that are done in these areas take many years, 8 to 10 years, to come online from the time you start planning them. So Trump won't be in office by then. There's a lot of uncertainty. The oil industry is expressing outrage, but I think privately it's probably a big shrug to them.
So there's going to be any economic impacts to this ban at all?
I think that it will have a small effect on the world price of oil. And in doing so, everyone will pay a tiny bit more for gasoline and oil products. I think it will potentially avoid some offshore oil spills, which we know can really be damaging to the environment and to the local economies. And to the extent there was some drilling that was going to be done here, it might reduce jobs a bit. But all of these are just going to be so small relative to the overall oil market that I don't think anybody's really going to notice the difference.
All right. Well, thank you for your insight and your expertise, Severin Borenstein. Thank you very much.
Thank you.